Arctic ice, a sign of spring on the northeast coast of Newfoundland. Great fields of sea ice borne south by the Labrador current. It chokes our bays and harbours. It chills the wakening land. It's a lean time of year for those who make their living from the sea. The boats in Portagrave huddle together as fishermen hope for the winds and the tides to carry the ice out the bay. Nothing to do but wait, and perhaps do a few last-minute repairs and alterations. Yes, that's a vacuum cleaner. Those Portagrave fishermen take great pride in their boats. And well they should, for there's a long, unbroken tradition of fishing out of this port, a tradition that stretches back to the 17th century. That's a long time to get to know the ways of the sea and the fish and the ice.
Well, Bill, I suppose the ice means it's a late start for you fellows this year, is it?
Well, not... well, last year it was around about the same time when the ice moved out. So, looking at it, well, starting to move up today, probably if the wind stays down for 3 or 4 days, you couldn't get just as early a start as we did last year.
But now if there's no ice, sometimes you get out in April, I believe.
Yeah, we have had traps out 25th of April like that.
So right now you just want that ice to move off as fast as
That's
it
the
can.
main thing, is the ice, yeah. If we could get that to move out, like I said, 3 or 4 days now. We should get a few moorings in the water in here and get some kind of a start. But I don't know if the whole ongoing, it could be. It's looking pretty good in here today. Whatever.
Sure enough, the wind was freshening. It was carrying the ice out the bay. Day by day, hour by hour, it retreated, till just a few grounded pans remained. Soon the fishery was in full swing. We sailed on the Avalon Clipper with Vern Petton.
Well, I've been at it ever since I was old enough to get aboard a boat. If I could move from school when I was going to school to get aboard a boat, that's what I was told. We'd have a lot of fish in May month and as early as April sometimes, but now these years we can't seem to do nothing with it till just before the capelin time. There have been years when we've had a good many dollars worth of fish in May month, but now these years it seems like we got a job to, and of course some years then the ice been around late too, look.
Well, this year the ice was bad, wasn't it?
That's right, makes it later, look, you know.
So when you go out now in the spring, you got an eye on both fish, both the capelin and the codfish.
Well, that's right, you got a boat to look after, and men wants to make $1, and all it is, everyone wants to make $1 these days, so whatever's the best you can do, that's what you want to be at.
You got all of that on that rope, Jim?
Not many people use cod traps from a boat this size.
No, except around Portagrave area. This is probably about the biggest one we all trapped, and this is the biggest one we've had, you know. But we do it okay. I've been talking to some people, they can't understand how we do it, but I tell them we have no trouble to do it. You got to have your trap moored good. We always in all kinds of weathers, you know. If the boat is too big that we got to lose fish because of the boat, well, she's no good to us. So therefore, we said we'll try it anyway. We'll all anyway. And if we've got to let them go, we'll let them go. But very seldom we've had to let them go. We've always, if the fish is there, we'll get them.
They're a determined lot, these Portagrave fishermen. If there's a chance to catch a fish, they'll be out on the water, hauling their traps, checking them, shifting them, or taking them up when they're not producing any fish. When fish are plentiful, 2 or 3 traps are enough, but there are times when you've got to work hard with all you've got to make it pay.
Are there ever any days when you haul all 5 or 6 traps, whatever you got in the water?
Oh, there's days, yes, there's days. We probably don't haul as many now as we used to one time. We've hauled as many as 8 and 9 some days before we've left to come home. When the fish been on the go, I've seen it where we just let down one and go to another and all, but then that was when it was going good. If there's nothing in it, you can see on the sounder. You can see if there's any fish, if there's where at all, and if there's anything there at all, we'll haul for £1,000 or less than that if it's there.
I suppose there are times when you've had good hauls in this berth there.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yes, yes, we've done pretty good there sometimes. But then, you know, when the fish is on the go there, you can get them, and when the weather is, you know, suitable. But when they're not on the go there, it's a job to get them.
But now there's some fine fish there in that haul. There weren't many, but they were good fish.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, you get good fish along this area. It's mostly good run of fish, you know. Now some years it's bigger and some more, and sometimes in the evening you'll get bigger fish than you will in the morning.
And so Vern and the crew of the Avalon Clipper continued all day, hauling the cod traps near Balleen and Cape St. Francis. Well, they weren't at it all day. Somehow, in between jobs, someone had managed to cook up a scoff down in the galley. The smell had wafted up on deck till Vern was forced to stop for a while. Or he'd have had a mutiny on his hands.
Monday, well,
There's lots of days when you're able to stay and do this boy until they went to home and the rock.
Suppose.
In off east way.
There's a nice little cove here, isn't there? What do you call it, Vern?
It's deep water cove.
We're right just about on the quay, Vern.
Yeah, this is where you turn the cape now. The lighthouse is about a quarter of a mile in, just behind that cape there, just around the head, you know.
Now I know a feed in the woods is great, but there was no better feed than that feast of chicken and potatoes and gravy we had that day on the deck of the Avalon Clipper.
You got to go out and wait anchor.
Well, the chicken had hardly reached my stomach when the boys were at it again. This time they weren't hauling, they were setting a cod trap.
Hold on, let him go.
To some people, I suppose, setting a cod trap means throwing it in the water. Not so. It's a matter of some skill. A cod trap is a pretty involved piece of fishing gear. Thousands of dollars worth of twine and ropes and leads and floats, and a confusion of terms, heads, doorways, V's, leaders, span lines, and it all has to be set just right.
I hope you know what you're doing, because I certainly
Oh, I've done this before. Well used to doing this, Dave, boy.
What part of the trap is this now?
Well, we got the trap just overboard now.
Look
in
out
about
the set of keys there, look.
Right.
Find them in the fish's belly.
Just letting down the doorways now, the leader, what?
That's the doorways there, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, when does the leader go on now?
Well, the leader is on now to the bottom. You always put the leader onto the doorways in the bottom. You get you tied together on top now, that's it.
Not much to it when you know how, I suppose.
Oh no, you could do this now.
Yeah, we're going to take over here.
Yeah, we'll put the span line on now.
Must be hard to do this, though, Vern, when the weather is rough.
Yeah, it's just a good day today. We don't always have it like this. Not out around the headland like this, you know. All right, Wayne, like that?
Yeah. Do you expect to get some fish here early now, or?
Well, yes, you want to get them in now. It's not real early now.
You want to take a nut on this run? Or?
No, that's okay. We might want to keep the boat up when we come in when the wind is against us.
Right.
Now, I had that dinner, right?
And so we passed the day with Vern Petton and his crew on the Avalon Clipper at Cape St. Francis, a place the Portagrave men have been fishing for generations. Fish were scarce, and while there was still hope for a good voyage, Vern wasn't taking any chances. Look at the stern of the Clipper. That's a capelin seine, all ready to go. Japanese buyers were offering up to 27 cents a pound for spawny female capelin. It could be a lucrative fishery. It could end up being more important than the cod fishery. Only thing is, the capelin were late this year too. We told Vern we'd be back. They were a bit late this year, but finally they arrived. Capelin, tiny, smelt-like fish that draw the cod close to shore as they come into our beaches to spawn. Millions of them, caught up in the irrepressible drive to reproduce their own kind. They invade the beaches of Newfoundland, a suicidal mating dance in the surf. Catching capelin is a ritual in Newfoundland, and it's ridiculously easy. Once they were caught as fertilizer for the garden, and a few for a fry at home. Today, men, women, and children collect the females and sell them to the plants. But the males, useless on the Japanese market, end up in plastic bags in the deep freeze.
Mr. Boone, you're getting a few capelin this morning?
Yeah, I came over here this morning about 5:30. There wasn't a one along this beach, not a one to be seen. But I know they were here before on account of the spawn on the beach, see? Yeah. So I went home and took everything out of the car, and I had other places to go. And I came up just now to go there, and I saw a man there getting capelin. He had nothing to get him with, so I went back again and put my dip in the car and came up and helped him to fill his buckets and fill my own. And then those fellows was there from the mainland with their boxes, and I filled theirs for them, and so they're gone. And now you fellows are there.
So you got some for the winter, have you?
I got some for the winter now, yes, and those are the biggest capelin I've seen the year.
Yeah, mostly males, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're fresh. They're real fresh too, because they're alive now.
Yeah.
But the ones I got before was got them from the plant, and they had to be laying down to the plant overnight before you could get them. See,
right.
Next morning.
Well, they can't be fresher than when they're alive. Can
No,
they?
that's true. No.
I believe the capelin are getting thicker out there now, aren't they?
They're running in again now. See, the water is just right for them now. Look along the beach, half tide, and they're running in again here now. Look.
What do you think of the capelin fishery? Do you agree with it?
Well, I agree with it all right, but after a few years, there's not going to be no capelin to come to land, because they're going to have them all the spawny capelin caught, and there'll be no more capelin to come to land. I want to be able to see it all the same. But this is what's going on. See, there's no spawny capelin among those. All the same, there's all spawning along the beach. Look, the spawn is knee deep. Look.
Mr. Boone echoes the worries of quite a few people who are concerned with this new capelin fishery. Some feel we simply shouldn't have a commercial fishery for this species, which is the main food of the codfish. But for Vern Petton and hundreds of other fishermen, the capelin has been a godsend. It's an industry that's worth some $30 million and has provided the Clipper and many other vessels with the bulk of their earnings this year. Cod were scarce, capelin were plentiful. Demand was great, price was high. Those fortunate enough to have a capelin license thanked their lucky stars. The Clipper and other seiners caught some 6,000 tons of capelin here in Conception Bay this year. Fixed gear took another 7,000 tons. All told, 42,000 tons of capelin were landed in this province. The biologists say there's a lot of capelin out there, that our seiners barely make a dent in the stock. Still, to be on the safe side and to avoid glutting the market, they set a conservative quota. And the seiner skippers would be the first to agree that the quota is low. They say they could pick up huge bodies of capelin on their sonar and fish finders after the season was closed. But at least 'twas a profitable time while it lasted. The boats were coming in loaded down with capelin, here at Portagrave and many other ports. The plants often were blocked, and fishermen forced to limit their catches. Yes, the capelin this year was a brief bonanza, and when 'twas all over, it was back to the old reliable cod trap fishery for the skipper and crew of the Avalon Clipper. Bauline in Conception Bay, early morning. A vessel approaches from across the bay. It's the Clipper, in to pick up Jim LeGros from Bauline and Ted and Rennie Sullivan from Pooch Cove. At cod trapping time, they're part of Vern Pettin's crew.
They've fished with us a good while, you know, and well, they haven't made it as much money as some fellas will make, but we've done very good. We've made ends meet anyway.
So every morning now you steam over from Portagrave and pick them up there at Bauline.
That's right. We got close to 2 hours steam from out to Bauline. We got another, well, hour steam out to our father's trap away. And then we'll come back, we'll look along. If there's any fish in any of the traps going along, well, we'll all then. If not, we'll wait till our trip back later in the day.
On we steam, headed for the Cape once again, and hopefully a better haul this time. A big crew on the Clipper today, the next generation of Portagrave fishermen, out to learn the ways of the Cape. As Vern says, it's a job to keep them ashore.
Vern, the young fellows you had out with your boy and the other two young fellows, they had a great time.
Oh, they enjoy it a day out. They enjoy it a day out, you know. I like to pick a good day to bring them out, but they don't mind if it's rough, eh? Well, I guess you got to get used to it. When I started at it, I used to be out rough days and good days, and you got to get used to it.
It must bring you back to your own young days out in the boat.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And like I say, I wasn't very old when I started fishing. Clear fishing and boat building now, that's my two jobs I like to do.
What's the best side of the Cape now? Is it the St. John's side or the Conception Bay side for fish?
Well, Conception Bay side, you get fish earlier and probably later, deeper water. Out around this area, most places are shallow water.
A lot of small fish sometimes, like
yes,
today.
That's right, yeah, that's right. And now the market, the small fish, no one wants to see them anymore. This year now, that made a difference too. That took at least a cent off a pound. You haven't picked the small, see? Now, some of the buyers will buy the small and some more won't.
Must break your heart though, Vern, to have to throw away some of the real small stuff.
Yeah, that's right, because some of them fish, well, you take 18 inches of that. That's 19 and a half overall. And you're not really talking about a tomcat, right? When you make fish on the flake years ago, you're looking for a small Madeira fish. We're out 6 days a week, and, you know, if there's a real stormy day. But if we can go at all, sometimes we go, well, we'll go anyway, but very seldom we stays in. I know in '83 we went 2 months, we went eight weeks, 6 days a week, Monday till Saturday, and without a break. I can remember ice down around all, and we looked after the fish the best we can, you know. No sun shines on them and it takes it off, so the fish be in good condition.
And so spring passes into summer for Vern Petman and the crew of the Avalon Clipper, cod fishing, capelin seining, and later on chasing the schools of mackerel. The next time we found the Avalon Clipper, she was roaming the shores of Trinity Bay. 'Twas early November now. The mackerel were just beginning to put in an appearance. Some Portagrave boats had gone to White Bay mackerel fishing and done well. Others had gambled on Trinity Bay. But the mackerel were wild and hard to find this year.
Well, Vern, this is what it's like all fall, is it? You got to cruise the bays and harbours like this?
Yes, that's right. You want lots of patience. When there's bays, there's none. You're always hoping to see him, and when you do see him, there's lots of activity then.
Well, soon someone did spot a school of mackerel. As if by magic, a fleet of seiners appeared. For a while, 'twas a real traffic jam off Hopewell Head, as fishermen desperately bid to ring the school of wild mackerel. But no fish were to be caught that day. Vern set the wrong way and missed his chance. A big school broke away from Eric Dean's seine. Others set their seines and missed. Excitement turned to disappointment.
So Vern, you fellows now, you fish right till the last minute.
Well, that's right. That's the way we do it. We always used to fish the herring, and now since the herring quarter been cut off, well, there's nothing to do, only at the mackerel, you know. So we really do miss the herring, and we're looking forward to being open again, you know, because at least there's a guaranteed dollar there. We was at the cod, but we didn't get as much as we didn't get as much as what we would have liked to got.
So you'd like to top it off with another load or two of mackerel?
That would be good, yeah, that's right. Especially if we could get out the seine, you know, and get some bad, eh? Well, then, you know, that's almost guaranteed, you know, without the weather come bad or something like that.
Well, I hope the weather keeps up for you for a while yet.
Yeah, that's right. You get a few good days like this, you know. That's what we'll count on.
I suppose you're a bit tired of it now, are you?
Oh, no, I'm not tired. I never get tired of underwater. I never get tired of underwater. If I'm underwater, I'm quite contented. If there's anything to get there at all, I'm as contented at that as underwater as any man is at any kind of job.
The Avalon Clipper is still over there in Trinity Bay. Vern and his crew still hoping for that last big set to top off the year. Hope is dimming now as wind and weather begin to work against them. But they'll stay while there's a ray of hope. The seine will be frozen on the deck when the Avalon Clipper heads home to Port de Grave.